Hello everybody, welcome to part 2 of the Khawarij unit breakdown. So we are continuing our series here with our going all in on the first request we had, going in depth as we can. So we're going to talk about Tarik Mansuri's profiles first on this one. So I am assuming if you're watching this, you already watched the first part for Khawarij and you're like, these guys are so cool. So let's talk about the one that makes them even cooler. So this is the name character and lieutenant option among the Khawarij, Tarik Mansuri. He is a super soldier in every aspect of that in the game. To me, it feels like you're running around with Captain America in Hawk Islam form. So that's just context. So let's talk about his stats. Move 6'4", crazy fast for a medium infantry. CC 23, just as good in CC combat as the Khawarij themselves. Ballistic skill 13, still good. PH 14, even better. Whip 15, even better. Armor 3, even better. BTS 3, equal. He picks up an extra wound. He is a 2-wound medium infantry that still can't be hacked. This guy's awesome. He is also a silhouette 5 though, so he is easier to see and shoot. So keep that in mind. He's a big boy. All right, AVA 1 obviously is his name character. So stats wise, he picks up BS attack -3. So he is a better gunfighter than a basic Khawarij, and his guns are still decent. One of them, the other one's just has AP. It's not that great. He keeps the CC capabilities, keeps combat instinct. He picks up an extra inch of dodge. So he's dodged 4 inches instead of 3. Still has immunity arm, strapped to those 2 wounds, so he's very tanky. He gains Warhorse, so he's ignoring opponent's BS attack -3, as well as staying a regular order. If for some reason he's not your lieutenant, but he probably is. And then has terrain total instead of terrain desert. The upgrades are littered all throughout this profile. And then he keeps the super jump 3 inches. So he, like I said, this man moves. So, and the Khawarij keep up with him, but more on that. So, profiles. Yeah, he has attack-aware AP rifle. Don't bring it. Yeah, he has Lieutenant plus 100 AP rifle. I don't know why you bring that either. He has an AP Spitfire. Bring the dice. He is your fighter. That's what he does. Notice, he's not a specialist. He fights. So you bring him to throw dice. He has the AP Spitfire, Pulsar plus 1 burst. If you, for some reason, don't have him as lieutenant, if you don't, I don't really know why. If you're bringing him, I feel like you want him to be as best as possible. So bringing the Lieutenant plus 1 order on the AP Spitfire seems like a no-brainer to me. If you think differently, tell me why. So this is the guy you bring for guns. Now let's talk about where we use them in factions and in fire teams. So first we're going to talk about Vanilla Hawk Islam. So if you look here, this is the Fire Team 2. They are not applicable to the first fire team in the Vanilla Hawk. So we're just talking about here your duo or Harris option. So notice your Khawarij, you can only have one. So realistically, they are your gunfighter in the fire team. So if I'm bringing him, I'm probably doing something crazy, like 2 Sekban and a Khawarij, or 2 Odalisks and a Khawarij. I don't know if double Burkut or double Corsan is reasonable. Maybe double Corsan is. I'm not super familiar with gameplay of the Kapukalki profiles, so someone might be able to tell me if one of those guys are a better pairing. I don't know if duo's really worth it. Unless you just want to take one of the guns from the Khawarij and drag around a specialist. That doesn't seem like you're maximizing what you can do there. You probably want it to have a special die if he's going to be your gunner. So for me, this is like a consider, but not as something you have to do. All right, it's time to talk about where the Khawarij really shine, which is in Rama Task Force. So this is the main Rama Task Force fire teams. They can be Harris, Core, or Duo, which means you can duo these guys even though they're meant to be kind of like a line troop fire team, which is insane. You can go all the way up to max AVA of 5 Khawarij in a fire team. They do not pair up and gain purity with any of the other guys. So yes, you could take one and put a couple Gulams with them if you just want a super cheap Harris, but you could just duo the Khawarij and save a slot for something else. And in Rama, I think that's probably the way to go if you really want to go that route. So with that in mind, I would consider your best duo options here to be something like the Mark 12 with the Doctor, or maybe the AP Spitfire with the Doctor. You could consider using the Chain of Command with him, but I really like him kind of in different roles, so I think I would go Doctor before them. If you really want to get crazy and build like a 4-man plus 1 BS or something like that, then you maybe include the heavy rocket launcher because it's discounted SWC for typical HRLs, and then it's also just a good defensive gun in the team, so not bad. So you have lots of options here, and if you're going to bring more than one Khawarij, I think you're kind of building around them. So with that being said, you might want that full box of 4 if you're going that route. It gives all the ones that you need to go that direction. All right, so now let's talk about Tarik Mansuri. So now we're looking at the wild cards for Rama Task Force. So if you're not super knowledgeable about Infinity, you may not know that these guys can slot into any fire team. I mean, any of them. So Tarik Mansuri counts as a Khawarij, so you can put them in a duo with a single Khawarij, and they have Purity +1 special die. They're doing a lot of work. That's probably my preference for playing them, because Mansuri is a lot of points. And so if you're just stapling the Doctor to him, or the NCO, which is probably a decent option, they're just going to go murder things. That's their job. So with that being said, though, I do think they're a good duo fire team for if you're going to go kill a bunch of stuff. But if you're looking for a group that can play the mission and be discounted on points, be affordable within having other quality pieces in the army, I think you probably go for the NCO Mark 12 or the AP Spitfire combined with the Doctor. That's my take on that. So with that being the case, would I take Tarik Mansuri in every Rama Task Force list? No, but I think he's a really solid gunfighter, and I think if you're playing killy missions, he's a really quality piece to look at, because he gives you a lot of orders for being a lot of points. So he's hypothetically worth it. So with that being the case, Khawarij, amazing. Tarik Mansuri, really on par with that too. Their mobility, their gunfighting, their skills, they're just good. They're a little pricey though, so you got to be careful with that. Every list I've played around with them with Rama, I'm including all 3 of the Fanus remotes for those cheap orders, because they're eating up a bunch of my points. So just keep that in mind when you're building with them. If you have any questions or any hot takes about them, or if you think I'm just totally wrong, please tell me. This is all theory. I haven't got to play these guys on the table before, but man, I'd like to. So with that being the case, and Dried Salad, thank you for the requests, and we'll be getting more of your Haqqislam videos out in the near future. All right. Thank you, guys.